Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and today I have a different kind of review. I'm not in the typical review location that I normally am, and I'm not using the same setup because I'm currently trying to do some reviews while I'm on a road trip. But today I'm super excited because this is the new kind of big exciting knife for Ka-Bar, and that is the Ka-Bar Jarosz Choppa. Ka-Bar Jarosz Choppa. Now, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of this, but as you can see on the blade there, that is the name of the knife maker, Jarosz, and it's made by Ka-Bar. So this is the Ka-Bar Jarosz Chopper, super sweet, large fixed blade. So I'm going to read over some specs. Then we'll get into the knife. The overall length of the knife is about 15 inches. The blade length is just under 10 inches at 9.87 inches. The blade thickness is 0.19 inches thick. The blade steel is 1095 Crovan, which is fairly typical for most of the many of Ka-Bar knives. They use, especially the BK line, they use a lot of that Ethan Becker's 1095 Crovan. The handle length is 5.12 inches. The handle thickness is 1.04 inches, so about an inch thick. And the overall weight, this is a full tang fixed blade. Very solid knife, but it is, heavier. And that is 15.93 ounces, so just under a pound, just barely under a pound, so we'll just call it a pound. Other than that, let's take a look at the blade. So what really attracted me to this knife is, well, first off, I'm not a huge large fixed blade knife guy. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that love large fixed blade knives, especially for their survival knife. This I was attracted to, one, for the blade shape, two, because of the manufacturer, Ka-Bar. I love their fixed blades, and the overall design and the fingertip. I mean, there's a number of features in here, but one of the big things is that it's a flat ground blade. Okay. So now looking into the actual knife, it has kind of a plain knife shape, almost starts to drop like a drop point, but for the most part this would just be a basic knife shape. It is flat or a plain edge, so there are no serrations. It is flat ground, and it has a decent amount of belly right here, which is fine. The overall design of it, given by the name of Choppa, it's designed for chopping. So it has all the weight is in the forward, or the majority of the blade forward. So the balance point is right around here, so just above the finger choil there. But this knife is also is meant for like a camping knife, and a general kind of camping knife, where if you're going to be doing some trail clearing, some brush clearing, some processing of firewood, this knife is supposed to fit the bill. The nice thing is that they designed a very large finger choil, and that is great for biting up and doing some finer carving or woodworking there. And because it's so large, you could easily use this with a glove, and I'll demonstrate that later. The handle material is Grivery, I believe, which is pretty standard for Ka-Bar knives. Becker line feels like Grivery, so I'm assuming that's what it is. If I'm wrong, please comment below with the correct part, but either way, it's a polymer of some sort. It's held on by 2 hex bolts, and it just feels, really nice. There's a decent palm swell through here, and it swells as it comes to the butt end, and then you also have a swell up here. Now, it's really comfortable, but at the same time, there's one gripe about it. In an overhand grip, it is fairly narrow in this part right by the pointer finger there, so I wish it was a little bit thicker there. But what I was surprised was the swell up top actually sinks right into the middle of the palm when you're actually doing using the finger choil. So you actually have a really good amount of control right here. That wedge just nests right there in between my fingers, and I can have a tremendous amount of control and even do some simple chopping like this. So really impressed with that. It's like a chocolate brown handle scale. It's full tang all the way through, and then it has a large lanyard hole, which usually if you're going to be doing a lot of chopping, you're going to want some sort of wrist lanyard just to hold on to the blade. It is coated with a black coating to prevent it from rusting, but if you wanted, you could easily sharpen the spine to 90 degrees for processing finer shavings and for throwing sparks on a ferro rod. Like I said, it is made by Ka-Bar in Olean, New York, USA made. Super awesome. So besides that, it comes with a belt sheath or a pack sheath, depending on how you want to use this, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's simple, but it is MOLLE compatible. Now, Jarosz also makes a number of other knives for Ka-Bar. Just recently, he has the Turok, and then he also has the Globetrotter, I believe. The Globetrotter is a smaller, I think just over 3-inch fixed blade knife, and that would attach perfectly onto the front of the sheath, so you have a complete knife system with a smaller, finer knife for detailed work, and then the heavier chopping knife for more laborious work. But the Globetrotter would essentially lash onto there. And if not, there are a number of different MOLLE compatible pouches out there on the market. So if you want to do sharpening system attached to that, or a basic survival kit, navigation, you could throw a compass on there too. So it's pretty versatile. With that being said, you could even do a number of different things as well. It has 2 hollow grommets up here, so if you wanted to lace some cord through and wrap it around the handle, that would also help retain it. It has a large plastic insert. It is not fitted, so the knife kind of floats freely in there and wiggles around. And it has a single snap closed, which holds the knife snug. It's not going to slip out, but there is some rattle because it's just a loose fitting insert. The one cool thing that I like is that on the snap there is Velcro hook and loop, that when you open it, you just press this down and it pulls the snap straps back and holds it open, so you're less likely to cut them when you draw the knife or put it back in. So that's actually a really nice feature. I wish some other sheaths would do that now. I'm not sure how long that'll last, but either way, it's functional and it's really handy, so I really appreciate this. The sheath is also designed for ambidextrous, so it doesn't matter if you're left or right hand carry. At the bottom, there's a really large hollow grommet if you want to do like a leg strap. Put some paracord through there and just strap it to your leg, or use it to retain it to a pack. On the back, we have a MOLLE strap, so this could attach to other MOLLE systems, backpacks and whatnot. There are 2 other hollow tabs back here that you could use for lashing, and then it does have a quick release flap back here with a snap, so that if you have it on your belt or whatever, you don't have to draw the belt all the way through to get it off. You can just flip the flap and it'll come right off. So really like that on sheaths. So there is that. And that is what is included in the package. Other than that, all I can say as far as like the actual functionality of this, I use this camping and processing wood. It has a lot of great heft, and you can get some really great chops with it. There's a little bit of a learning curve as far as how far back you want to choke up on the handle and whatnot, but it works fantastic. 1095 takes a great edge and is very sharp. As far as what I'd see this, this could potentially replace any sort of a small camp axe, if that was something you were looking for. Instead of having a camp axe, you could use this. This would also be good for clearing trails or brush. More of a swamp knife type knife, though the corrosion resistance isn't the greatest with the 1095, but for softer brush as well. Some of the really hardwoods, though, I did notice it didn't have enough heft to really chop all the way through, but it still felt great in hand and did a really awesome job of cutting things down and processing wood. Because of the length and the flat spine, this is actually really good, plus the flat grind. This is actually pretty excellent for batoning. I probably wouldn't baton anything more than a 5-inch diameter. You could do the length of the blade, but just for peace of mind, 5 inches is more than enough for this. And yeah, you could even chop small logs, 3-inch diameter, whatnot, in one swoop. So all I can do then now is kind of compare it to what blades I have on me, just to give you a size reference. So most people know what a griptilian looks like. We'll set that there. Baco Laplander is right there, and then the only other knife I have is the Benchmade Protagonist, which is pretty sweet, and that will go right there. As you can see, it's about the same length of a Baco Laplander, fully extended. The handle length is about an inch more than the griptilian and the Protagonist. And what the heck, I'll throw this one on here too. The Benchmade Caspa. Love this knife a lot. And they're all about the same length, just an inch over. Other than that, blade length, you can see the difference in the blade length. Sheath wise, it's a Protagonist sheath. It's just over half the length of the Choppa sheath. So you can see that there just as reference. And then real quick, I always like to show the blade thickness. Obviously a Laplander, Baco Laplander is super thin. Oops, griptilian thickness. See right there, handle wise as well. The Protagonist has a very thin profile from this angle, but still a cool knife. And then we have the Benchmade Caspa and handle thickness. So there you have it, guys. The only other thing I can say is with this MOLLE, besides strapping it to a MOLLE pack, this weave actually works fairly well and decent if you are a regular backpacker and you're going to go into some heavier brush and you want to bring a more sturdy blade, or even like an expeditional style setup. This can strap onto the compression straps of a typical backpacking backpack, and yeah, I don't see this much as being a true belt knife. You're not going to want to be lugging it around on your belt because it is fairly heavy. I call it like a pants sagger. It'll pull your pants down or your belt down, but this could easily be a great pack knife, one that you can hold a hook onto the outside and do a lot of work with. This thing's a workhorse. So the only other thing is when I was chopping with the knife, I did feel a little bit of hot spots, so it's best to use with some sort of a work glove, just to dampen some of the chopping. this. If anything, I felt a little bit here in this pommel. It's not as rounded as you'd want it to be, but wearing a simple pair of work gloves will actually remedy that pretty easy. So there you go, guys. That is the Ka-Bar Jarosz Choppa, or Jarosz Choppa. Super awesome fixed blade. Super sweet chopper. If you're in the market for a large chopper for batoning and just doing some hard work, or you just want to add it to your bug out bag kit or zombie apocalypse kit, whatever, this thing is wicked. Absolutely love it. And I saw it on Blade HQ for about $100. Other sites are about 150, so somewhere between 100 and 150. Totally worth it for a large fixed blade with a really decent sheath. So check it out. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the eye in the upper right hand corner for links to some of the other products that I showed and compared it to. And other than that, I'll see you guys outside. Thank you.